And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, September 14th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. A Wednesday morning, a wonderful Wednesday it's going to be, and we welcome you to our program. Bob McDonald is with us live in studio this morning to talk about Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you again.
Great to be with you. I'm on a roll.
And you're here with your Cumberland brethren today.
I am.
That's a little teaser that they're going to be on after you do the commercial.
Adds
here.
Excitement. You got two great guys here representing a great institution, so I can't wait to get in the car and tune in. Should be good. Hey, you were talking before we came on the air about your early radio days and having to take a test somewhere in Donaldson, and it reminded me a few years ago, Susie came to see me, Susie James, and she had come across a stack of pictures that Bill Berry had made in Donaldson, and she suspects that he was preparing his application for a new radio station that would be covering, that area, and he was taking pictures of different businesses. I guess, to submit to the FCC. So this was in 1968, and it's pictures of all kinds of areas of Donaldson, where I grew up. It just brought back so many memories. One of the pictures she gave me was the area where our Donaldson office is located now.
Oh.
It was a medical center. It had like 2 or 3 different doctors' offices. It had a pharmacy. It had a medical supply company. But it was neat to see that. This is 1968, and I remember what Lebanon Road looked like. It was brought back great memories. So anyway, it made me think about, because you were in Donaldson doing that.
Yep, right. Well, of course, the scenery's changed a little bit, but I don't think you could have a better location in Donaldson than where Cedar Stone Bank is located.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, that's always been a sort of the town square of Donaldson, right there where Donaldson Pike intersects at Lebanon Road. And so that location has always been a prominent location, has always been a prominent business there. Families and businesses would interact and do commerce at that very location. So, could not be any better.
Well, did your father, Willie, have anything to do with that location?
Oh, he did, yeah. He knew the lady who owned that property. She and her family had owned that for years, and other folks had tried to buy it, but she was in no hurry to sell. She had no reason to sell it. And Willie had known her for a very long time, and it took Willie about 18 months of meeting with her and finally talking her into selling it. And he had everything to do with it.
I think some of his negotiation assets ran off on you a little bit.
Well, I don't know about that, but you speak of Willie, people ask about Willie all the time. Willie turned 90 in March, and Helen, my mom, turned 91 in August, just last month, and they're doing remarkably well. They very healthy, both. They remain a very active lifestyle. They're out and about and doing things, and so I'll be sure and tell him that we talked about him.
That's great. I want to ask you about something here. Yesterday, we got a report, and the stock market tumbled, and it seems like inflation is maybe even among us even more than we thought. What's going to happen?
Yeah, well, that was the last piece of economic data to come out before the Fed meets here in the next 10 days, I think, September 20th and 21st. So that's obviously going to solidify their previously expected need to raise rates. They've been expecting to raise rates anywhere from 50 to 75 basis points, but with yesterday's inflation number of 8.7%, way above what they were expecting. There's even talk now that they might raise rates more than that, maybe 1 to 125 basis points. So they're determined to get a grip on inflation and knock it out. As we talked in previous Wednesdays, Coleman, they were a little late to the dance at responding to inflation. So they're determined to get a hold of it now. And as long as they keep raising rates, it's going to have a negative impact on the stock market. So, we need to get used to that. Everything will calm down at some point. Once they feel like inflation is under control, then you'll start seeing them lower the rates, and then which will result in a higher stock market. So we just need to hang tight and buckle in. Again, there's still various speculation on, are we in a recession? Will we be in a recession? If so, how bad? So that's yet to be known, yet to be seen.
Well, we are in a good place. Middle Tennessee is still going and growing, and probably couldn't ask to be in a better place.
Exactly.
As far as financial.
Exactly. We saw from 2008 during that recession that Middle Tennessee was nowhere near impacted as other areas of the country. And because our economy is so diversified, we're not dependent on any one industry. And so while if we do go into recession, I don't think there's any reason for any of us to panic. It's just something we'll just need to respond to, and I'm confident that we will.
All right, you can get a loan at Cedarstone. You can also bank free, and you got a few seconds to tell about that if you will.
Free, absolutely 100% free checking, free in every way, free checks, free online banking with Bill P, free ATM use anywhere in the world. Come by and see us.
It's a great one. And Bob, President, CEO, Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coleman.
Okay. We're 10 and a half, well, just about 11 minutes after the hour. This is the Wednesday that we feature Cumberland University. Rusty Richardson is here as always. Rusty's Executive Director of Community Relations and External Affairs. We've got I think a special program this morning, partly because of the special guest that you have brought with us today. But Rusty, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And I don't want to steal your thunder here. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. We are happy to announce that the fall semester is going full speed ahead. It's hard to believe we're already in our fourth week of the students being back. The campus is full, and we are just going full speed ahead with everything. We do have the fall enrollment numbers now, as I've explained in previous shows. The way schools calculate that number, or when they calculate the number of total enrollment, is 14 days after the first day of classes. And that was last Friday. So we now can report our official numbers for the year. We're happy to report that it's a 2% increase year over last year. And there are two different segments that we're especially pleased with. One is the early college, which are high school students that can take classes at the college level, and when they graduate from high school, they also graduate with an associate's degree. So we had an increase in that program. And the second program is our Tennessee Promise students. Where we're especially proud of is so many of them have decided not to end their education after 2 years, but continued on for a third year and start working towards a bachelor's degree. So we saw a good increase in that number as well of the students that are continuing to work on towards that bachelor's degree.
Well, that's good, and I guess that's an advantage of the Tennessee Promise.
Absolutely.
Makes it a little bit easier to get through college.
Well, in essence, they get 4 years of college for 2 years of the cost with tuition, because with Tennessee Promise, as you know, the first 2 years are tuition free. The state pays that last dollar scholarship for them. So it's a great bargain for students that want to get a 4-year degree.
And how full are you?
The residence halls are completely full. In fact, I don't think in Cumberland's history we've ever had so many students that are in triple rooms as opposed to double rooms. We have them stacked everywhere. So it's a fun time to be at Cumberland and see all the students back.
All right, and you've got a renovation that has been going on. We've talked about that quite a bit, but
quite a bit.
Hall.
And
the Memorial Hall entrance.
The Memorial Hall entrance. It truly helped me remember that miracles do happen, because if you talked to me in early August or June or July, I would have said, there's no way this entrance is going to be complete by the time the students came back. But on August 22nd, the first day of school, they could walk in that front entrance. The main construction is now done. All that's left is the landscaping, and a lot of that will be wrapped up this week. So I would certainly encourage your listeners to come by if they haven't seen it yet, because it's a miraculous transformation of that front entrance to Memorial Hall.
All right, it's almost time for us to go to a break, but I think you need to tell us who you brought with us today and let them say hello.
I brought with me who undoubtedly is the busiest man on the Cumberland University campus, and that is Mr. Ron Pavin. Ron serves as the Vice President for Athletics, but also the Vice President for Facilities and Services. So he oversaw all that construction going on. So he just deserves a tremendous amount of praise for getting that done in such a quick and efficient manner.
Ron Pavin, welcome to our program again.
Welcome.
I appreciate seeing you, but I didn't know that you were actually the one responsible for that. And congratulations, I guess.
A lot of heavy lifting by a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, good to have you with us today. We've got a lot of things to talk about, but right now it is time for us to take a break. Rusty Richardson, Ron Pavin, Cumberland University are here, and we'll talk more in a moment. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, and they have Red Max complete inventory, weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're still in the process of filling out paperwork on this crash out here on 65 southbound, just past Vietnam Vets. But the damage is done. It's already very slow coming past Vietnam Vets, all that traffic coming down from the north. They also have a crash over to the side on 65 southbound just before you get to Trinity Lane. So it's just crawling right now on 65 southbound as you approach Trinity Lane. Again, coming down through this section of East Nashville, coming down from the north. Ripley's is hiring for all 10 attractions. Check them out at ripleys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Fall is here. Shop Springs Creamery invites you to their fall festivities on the farm. Grab some fresh ice cream and enjoy the corn maze, shell corn pit, dummy roping, and the corn cannon happening September 16th through October 30th. For more info, visit shopspringscreamery.com. For fresh ice cream, fall festivities, and fun for the whole family, make plans to visit Shop Springs Creamery 4 miles off I-40 towards Watertown, September 16th through October 30th. Happy fall, y'all!
It's week 2 for your Titans on the road at Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, to take on the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. Titans countdown begins at 5. Then Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis call every bit of the action with a 6:15 kickoff.
Brought to you by Vixen Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811, call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Coleman and Company, welcome to our program here on a Wednesday morning. Cumberland University comes, Rusty Richardson brings somebody with him once a month to be on our program here. It's always this Wednesday of the month, and Rusty's brought Ron Pavin with us today, who we introduced right before the break. Ron is Vice President for Athletics, Vice President for Facilities and Services, so we're going to get away from the Memorial Hall entrance reservation that is complete except for landscaping under your direction, and talk about the football program and homecoming and Tim Tebow. But before we do that, we had a car accident, a tragic thing that happened, and because of that, a football game was canceled, and I'm sure, Ron, you want to talk about that a little bit this morning. It's something that we hate to hear that happened, but these things do happen. We have to address them, and life still goes on.
Yeah, it's we've been grieving, and also the Church of God in Lebanon, and for Wilson County, who I've been here 15 years, it's been amazing. All the texts, the prayers. We had a service last Thursday night, and you got to overcome. We got to rise above. But we made a decision not to play the football game this past week, and which is a good decision. We'll play this next Saturday at Pikeville at 3 o'clock Eastern. But we're three of the young men are out. They are recovering at home, and the one young man who we did not know if he would live or not is out of intensive care. And he's got a long way to go, and he played defensive back on that game. And just a lot of prayers. And I appreciate our community and our church leaders. Mike Ripsky came. We had kind of grief counselors. He's our minister, kind of campus minister, and other people came to the campus to meet the football team. And our president talked to the family members. And then we're going tomorrow. I'm going tomorrow to Memphis to one of our young men, Marcus Webb, passed away. And so we're going to go to that service tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And, you don't want to lose a child. As a father, grandfather, you don't want that to happen in your life. And there are no good answers other than we are, deeply saddened. But, life goes on, and we've got to recover. And we have come together, and I appreciate our community.
Have you had to deal with this before, either as a coach or as an official?
Yeah, I have. I've had that phone call. This past phone call was early Sunday morning. Then I'm at church, but I'm really not at church. I'm outside of church taking phone calls, and it's really, really hard. And I have, after this is my 37th year, I've had to deal with it, and it's very tragic, and there's no good answers. All I know that is God is good, and you have to help people. They all grieve in a different way.
Well, let's move along. We've got a really happy event and something of a prestigious nature, I think we could say, for Cumberland University, and the fact that Tim Tebow is coming to town.
Yes, we are having a Rise Above series. We thought about this, and MJ is probably the more excited than anybody in Wilson County. I'm going to have her not run onto the field. I have police always with me, so I'll have to look for MJ. But he will be for homecoming on October 8th at 2 o'clock. We'll have the stadium totally full, and then he'll talk to the student athletes. And then we'll have a special with all these sponsors at around 6:30, and Rusty's part of that, is, a Q&A with Tim Tebow. And we have Chris Harris from Channel 4. He's agreed with myself to do kind of an ESPN question and answer time with Tim Tebow. We're so excited about this. We have branded him around our campus, but Tim brings kind of what Cumberland's about, a Christian aspect, very successful, humble, and build on what we think of as service. That's our theme this year, is to serve other people and serve, and we have given out wristbands. So I think Tim Tebow for homecoming on October 8th will just pack the place.
Well, no doubt, and most people, if they are sports fans of any caliber, they've heard of Tim Tebow, and maybe a lot of people who aren't know who he is. And to have somebody of his reputation and caliber and stature to come, and I don't know how long it's going to be here, but it's a good part of a day anyway.
Yeah, he'll be here basically the whole day on that day. And what's really neat that I didn't know about, and just kind of teaser on this, and before that night, is he was decided to go to Alabama, and at the last minute he got turned to go to Florida. And what would happen if he went to Alabama? Then Nick Saban would not be there, because at that point they fired the Alabama coach, and you never know. Nick Saban would not be Nick Saban. isn't that amazing how, as a former coach, how at the last minute you can turn somebody? And a lot of people did not know that at the last minute he changed his mind and went to Florida.
No, I did not know that. I never heard that story. Well, are tickets available? You've sold out. Rusty, you want to respond to that?
Sure. Yes, tickets are still available, especially for the 2 o'clock talk that he'll give there at the football stadium. They can just go to the Cumberland website, the athletics website, and purchase tickets that way. Tickets, I believe, are $10 for that event, and there's still plenty of tickets available, but they're going quickly. So if people are interested in attending that, get those tickets now because it does have a limited capacity.
Right. It's still a little bit in the future here. This is still this is September the 14th, and we're talking about October the 8th. But it is less than a month away.
Less than a month away. So yes, those tickets are still available. The reception that night is more of a VIP reception, primarily giving the sponsors a chance to hear that discussion and have some photos taken. We'll also have a few auction items available that Tim has signed. So it's going to be a really great day for Cumberland and a great day for everyone involved.
Well, it certainly is, and I mean this is going to be a big news story for that weekend, and I'm sure Nashville television will have you'll get a lot of mileage out of him being here just with the publicity that's generated through the news that takes place, and you that's a big plus, Rod.
Yeah, and what I like is that Tim Tebow's a Christian. He never shaded from that in his college days, professional football or baseball. And that shows our young people across Wilson County and our student athletes at Cumberland that you don't have to hide your faith and you can be successful in life as a business owner or a banker or whatever you do and still have your faith. And so for us, he kind of checks all the boxes of Cumberland University and what we're trying to do for our student athletes and students.
Well, there's some sponsors that we might need to mention this morning, and Rusty, that's probably your job.
Yes, absolutely. And events like this certainly are not capable of pulling off without the generous support of sponsors, and certainly want to do a shout out to those sponsors that have so generously supported this. They include Novamet, Gordon Carroll Homes, Tri-Metal Welding and Fabrication, Tim Leeper Roofing, Wilson Bank and Trust, Cedar Stone, Pryor Dentistry, the Lead Center, the Journey Church, Lee Company. I mean, the list goes on, and Don Kennedy Roofing as well. They're the ones that really allow us to do these types of programs and bring this type of talent and excitement to our community. So we certainly want to thank them.
Excitement. I mean, people are talking about this, and I guess it goes with the territory, as they say. But it's not every day that you have somebody like Tim Tebow come and you know that you appreciate it very much, no doubt.
Oh, very much so. And I have to tell your listeners, although they can't see it, every time Tim Tebow's name is mentioned this morning, I look in and MJ's dancing around the control booth. So,
and that time was no exception.
And that time is no exception. So, but yes, it's going to be a great event. And again, for more information, then go to the Cumberland website, www.cumberland.edu, and find out more information and also the ability to purchase the tickets.
All right. We got one last thing to talk about today, and this is the Martin Van Buren Papers Grant and the new documents published, and I don't know much about that, but you got 2 minutes to explain it.
Sure. Just very quickly, we talk so much about the students and athletics and all that, but sometimes people forget that there's lots of other aspects to the university, and one of the ones that we're the most proud of is we believe the smallest university in the country that has a presidential papers project. We have the papers of Martin Van Buren, and many of those papers were handwritten. There were over 13,000 documents. And the purpose of that project is to transcribe those handwritten documents, digitize them so they're available and open to the public. And to show you the importance of that, they just released yesterday 264 new documents that have been transcribed.
I've got who is they?
We have a professor on campus that's in charge of the project. He's got several assistants that do research on
So
that.
you're
and
actually
students.
doing this at Cumberland.
Yes, we're doing this at Cumberland. The project started at Penn State years ago, and then they couldn't complete it. And then Mark Cheatham, one of our instructors, said, I'd like to take that on. And it's kind of like the dog chasing the car when he catches it. Now what do we do with it? But we have students involved with that as well. It's a big project. And just recently, the National Endowment for the Humanities gave a $217,000 grant for that work to continue. So it's a wonderful feather in Cumberland's cap, certainly a great career opportunity for the students to be involved in that type of research. And sometimes that kind of gets lost in all the other excitement with college life, and we like to just point that out.
Well, we've come to the end of our time here this morning, but a good program. Ron Pavin, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate all you're doing. And Rusty, keep on keeping on.
Thanks, Coleman. We'll see you next month.
That is part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more FM 98.9.
And at 7:29, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Bates Ford Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns the vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We see heavy traffic volume developing now right on schedule. 40 East coming up through Kingston Springs. Behind it, you got all that traffic coming in from Dixon County. 1400 block of Litton Avenue, that's going to be in East Nashville. That wreck does have some injuries. South Nashville, Murfreesboro Pike at Night Valley Drive is tied up with fire. EMS on the scene of that crash. Still very heavy trying to get in from Mount Juliet as you make your way through Hermitage right now. On 40 West, where we had that crash earlier, near Donaldson Pike, it's still over there to the right-hand side. Ripley's is hiring for all 10 attractions. Check them out online at ripleys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedar Stone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me, along with Harry Stafford, Bob Lee, and Joe Gardner, as we bring you Lebanon High School football. Brought to you by Bates Ford, Bakes and Hooker, K. Maynard Insurance, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Kenny Salas, Sports World, and Wilson Bank and Trust. The Blue Devils travel to Manchester Friday, September 16th, as they take on Coffee County on WANT and WCOR.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Stephen Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you could afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
A warm and sunny day in store for us. Temperatures climbing through the 60s and 70s this morning, heading for a high of 83 this afternoon. Things will get chilly again overnight, dropping to 57, high of 87 for Thursday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm Number One Ned.
And we welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company here on Wednesday morning. Time for us to talk about Herc Rentals, 1325 West Main 11, formerly Absolute Rental Supply. And we have Grant Smith here today to talk about it. Grant, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this
I'm
morning?
doing well. It's good to see you. Tell us a little bit about you. You're with Herc Rentals on West Main now. What do you do mainly?
So I'm an outside sales rep with them. I was in Nashville for about 2 years on the inside sales there, and then I moved over to Lebanon whenever we took that over in May. I've been working in the community, out in the field with customers as far as industrial warehouses, residential, working on different projects. being able to kind of see what equipment they need, being able to kind of match what equipment we have available to help them out with those projects.
Well, you probably have quite a bit available that maybe wasn't there for the last 20 years, and some of these people are not maybe known about it. You're calling on, so that's the idea here, to make them know that there's more available at Herc Rental than there was previously, right?
Yes, that's correct. More available now, and a lot more coming. We maxed our PO system early in the year this year. Have seen a lot of new equipment over the last couple months in Nashville and in Lebanon. We're going to keep bringing some of that new equipment into Lebanon and our Nashville locations, as far as like trucks, material handling lifts, some of your bigger booms, to be able to help with those industrial sized projects, as well as the residential work that's going to be going on as well.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking you're talking about some big pieces of equipment here, and it's probably quite expensive if somebody were to buy it, and you obviously, Herc Rental has bought it, but I guess in many cases it is more economical to rent that for a period of time than it is to go purchase one.
Correct. Yeah. We usually, with our new equipment, we like to rent it for about 4 or 5 years. But I mean, Herc does preach quality of equipment. Some of the rental companies will rent for years. We usually try to keep our stuff up to date and new. Within usually about 4 or 5 years is usually our sell point, when we start getting prices for maybe selling those items off, or sending them to auction. As we're still getting new equipment in every day and every month, to try to keep our equipment up to date. So that's something that we've focused on, really. But we do sell items that are older that customer want, and sometimes we'll sell a newer item as well, just depending on how it goes.
Well, probably what you're talking about is primarily is something that hasn't been offered before, are we not? You've got some bigger equipment, some equipment that Philip didn't have in the last 20 years, right?
Correct. Yes. I mean, Philip had some bigger items, the dozers and the excavators, but far and few between. We're going to be able to kind of bring in more of a quantity of that stuff. Some stuff that I've seen that's new on the Lebanon yard is going to be like your dump trucks. We're going to have some rental trucks for utility work, like your Chevy 1500, stuff like that. We're going to bring in a lot more material handling equipment, which is going to be like your reach forklifts, which is used for like getting stuff up to roofs on industrial projects, smaller warehouse forklifts for material handling stuff around the warehouses and stuff like that. And then your basic commercial equipment as well, skid steers, mini X's, and stuff like that.
Well, I'm guessing that with all the growth and all the building that's going on, there's a bigger demand for that maybe than ever before. So your timing sounds good.
Right. Yeah, and the demand here in Middle Tennessee is as high as ever with all the industrial work that's going on here. Multiple Amazons are being built. There's still residential work. Gas stations are going up very quickly. I mean, this area as a whole is growing, and I think that Herc Rentals, the team values and the stuff that we're going to be able to bring into the Lebanon area is going to help us be able to keep up with that growth here in Middle Tennessee.
Well, one of the things we have emphasized is the phone number, 615-443-RENT, and that hasn't changed. That's still phone number. I understand you can go to the website maybe and now place your order, so to speak. Is that right?
Correct. You can go on hercrentals.com and place your orders as well. And I think the Absolute website was still up. I'm not sure if it still currently is. We're trying to get that to where it's strictly going to be Herc Rentals. I think it was up, but I'm not sure if it's been taken down yet. But a phone call is always good. You can get online on hercrentals.com and make a reservation. There's multiple different ways to do that.
And that is with an S, hercrentals.com.
Correct. Yes, it's plural.
All right. Well, anything else you got for us, Grant? Got another minute or so.
Main thing I want to talk about is really just Herc Rentals values, as the team values that we bring to the table. We are a nationwide outfit, about third largest in the United States right now. So something we're able to bring to the table is our availability to get equipment across the nation. I mean, if it's not here in Middle Tennessee and you have a specialized project, we can bring that in, usually if we have a day or two. One thing that Herc says is just don't say no. We're always a say yes company. So, I mean, over the last 2 years that I've been working with them, there's been very few chances where we had to say no to a customer. So that's something that I think that we'll have availability to do, to use our resources to get some more of these specialized projects and help people out.
Well, Grant Smith, thanks for coming out this morning and for sharing your story and your perspective, because you're out in the community here. You are seeing a lot that's going on and making Herc rental available. All that you have and the bigger items that are much in need. Appreciate your visit.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right, Herc Rental again, Herc Rentals, 1325 West Main in Lebanon, and Grant Smith with us this morning, and that phone number, 615-443-RENT. 21 before the hour, I've invited Jason Johnson to be with us today, our Director of Tourism, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you. You've got some interesting information to pass along this morning, and we'll get to that in a minute. And I hope people won't go away because we've got the fair to talk about. We've got some other things that's happened, some new figures that I understand that have just been released, and we may be the first with some of this. I hope we are.
Well, this may be breaking news, right to the news desk here. The Tennessee Department of Tourism Development, they released their economic impact report for 2021. It always takes a few months to get the figures together on that. So as far as the figures for 2021, they released basically what's showing up as visitor spending in tourism across the state and in our county. Tennessee as a whole is a $24 billion industry in tourism. So it is a viable industry for sure.
$24 billion.
$24 billion across Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now, of that part, Wilson County in direct visitor spending last year was just over $295 million in direct visitor spending. And like I said, that's just the direct. Once you start to consider the indirect spending possibilities, you're looking at upwards of $470 million of money pumped into the local economy. We've actually moved up in ranking. As of 2021, Wilson County is ranked 11th in the state in direct visitor spending. That's compared to 12th last year, 13th the year before. So we are growing. Tourism is definitely growing in the county.
Any particular thing to attribute that to?
Well, of course, these numbers that I have here, we're hopefully going to see that going into next year, but definitely NASCAR weekend. NASCAR weekend. First of all, on NASCAR weekend, I want to give a shout out to Sheriff Bryant and the Wilson County Sheriff's Department. They did a fantastic job. I know the first year there were some concerns with traffic and things like that. And of course, Eric Moses out of the track kind of got ahead of things on that. And then Sheriff Bryant and the Wilson County Sheriff's Department and to some extent the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. But they were able to handle things out there, and it was fantastic.
I don't know if he's a genius, but sometimes I think Eric Moses is close to that.
I've told Eric Moses several times before, whatever office you're running for and whenever you're running, just let me know and you've got my vote. He is an amazing gentleman for sure.
He really is. He's very, very talented, very observant.
Yes.
He gets things done.
He does, absolutely. Yeah. But NASCAR weekend, it showed, we saw 70,000 visitors in attendance out there on NASCAR weekend in June. The hotels across the county were practically a sellout. We're looking at 95% occupancy rates across our hotels. I talked to some hotel partners that had 120% occupancy. I was asking a few of them, I'm like, how do you do the logistics on that? And like, well, it's second party and third party kind of bookings, so we had to do some shifting and stuff, but they got everybody taken care of. So it was an amazing weekend.
Well, no doubt they are very appreciative, and the race means a lot to their business.
Absolutely. Like I say, the direct economic impact of that, we're still waiting to see what this past year was. But based on, I think it was $31 million the previous year of direct economic impact from the race, I think we're going to see growth on that for sure.
Well, the attendance was better, quite a bit better, wasn't it?
Attendance was better. Camping was better. There was more going on that kind of kept people in the area, which would keep people in the county.
The economic impact should be a lot better.
I'm believing so. Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. What else you got? That the race, and I guess that's probably enough on that. But I think it's been successful enough, and an improvement in the second year here that they're looking forward to on and on for this.
They're looking forward to on and on. They're looking forward to more and more. Obviously, motorsports events is their bread and butter out there, but they're definitely looking to spread their wings for more festivals and events like that. And of course, the Wilson County CVB, we're doing all we can to partner with them out there to kind of spread the word of, while you're there, come on over to Lebanon or Mount Juliet and visit some things.
As far as that goes, do you sort of have you have a role to play in almost any event like this. You get to know and help promote it as you can.
Right. Like I say, our partnership that we have with the Speedway and with other events to come, it allows us to, help promote through our social media outlets. Their social media outlets will mention us as part of it. We had, with this last year, we were able to get a version of our Wilson County Visitors Guide on their website. So we were the premier visitor. If you go to NashvilleSuperspeedway.com, our Visitors Guide is on the website for Wilson County. It's not Tennessee's, it's not Nashville's. They focus on that. They're fantastic. The guys out there are fantastic about working out in the community. They know it's Nashville Super Speedway, and everyone says the Nashville, but they know that we are in Wilson County. We want to work with Wilson County people, and we want to bring money to Wilson County. And with our partnership, we're really driving that.
Jason Johnson's with us. He's responsible, at least in part, for tourism. a big player in the tourism industry here as Director of Tourism. And we'll talk more with Jason after we take this break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:43, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Bates Ford. Get $50 off, $250 repair offer to owners of 4 to 10-year-old Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury vehicles. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There was a stalled vehicle there a few minutes ago on 65 northbound just past OHB as you come up through Brentwood. It's just heavy traffic flow now trying to get up from the south there, coming out of Williamson County headed towards Nashville on 65 northbound. Pretty crowded right now. Vietnam vets getting on that ramp to 65 south. A little bit of radar down I-40 through certain parts of Dixon County this morning. The best Tennessee tailgate t-shirts are now available just in time for football season. Check them out today online at RockyTopTNShirts.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When you needed portable heating, cooling, generators and remediation equipment, contractor tools, or any other equipment or solution to help you get the job done, you trusted Absolute Rental and Supply. Now that same team brings you more equipment and more solutions as Herc Rentals. From construction and industrial to HVAC and homeowner, Herc Rentals has the gear and expertise to get jobs done efficiently, effectively, and safely. Visit us today at 1325 Main Street in Lebanon or online at hercrentals.com. That's HERCrentals.com.
Cumberland University football is back in action this Saturday, September 17th, as the Phoenix travel to Pikeville, Kentucky to take on the University of Pikeville. This is Christian Capozzi of the Cumberland Sports Network inviting you to join Bob Lee and myself this Saturday. Pre-game coverage begins at 1:30 leading up to a 2 o'clock kickoff, right here on WANT and WCOR. The U-Pike Bears and the Cumberland Phoenix match up this Saturday at 2 o'clock here on WANT and WCOR.
Join us for the first annual Sips and Sounds of September event on September 29th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Rural Hill Farm in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. The event will feature 3 very talented singer-songwriters, Ava Page, Marla Goodman, and Tiffany Turner. In addition to the live music, there will be a silent auction, great food, and great sips. That's September 29th at Sips and Sounds of September. All proceeds will benefit Wilson Rides, local transportation for senior citizens who no longer drive. Tickets are now on sale on Eventbrite.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our final segment here for a Wednesday, and Jason Johnson is with us, Director of Tourism. Is that your official title? What's your
Director of Tourism is pretty much what that's what I put on my business cards.
All right.
That's what that's what they tell me I am. So.
You were telling me that you've been in this area for 20 years.
Yes, sir.
But you're originally from Louisville?
No, right outside Owensboro, Kentucky.
Oh, okay. Well, somewhere up north.
Up there in the blue state. We're not down here in the orange.
You've seen in 20 years, you've seen a lot of change here in Middle Tennessee and the Nashville area.
Yes, sir. It has been ridiculous, the amount of growth in all facets. Like I say, not just in the tourism and the hospitality industry, but just the influx of people coming here. And there's a reason people are coming here like they're coming here. Well,
we've talked primarily about the report that you got that came out for last year. Then we talked about the Super Speedway and
sure.
the June race. We haven't talked about the Wilson County Fair. That
776,000, a little over that. Yeah, it was a record-setting year. It was record-setting. I want to say it was record-setting just about every day for attendance.
All but one. We set a
was
record
it all but one?
All but one.
Okay.
The first Friday we had more in 18, I believe. Yeah.
But I can personally speak to the fact that the closing Saturday at what was it, over 160,000. I felt like I saw every one of them trying to get into that parking lot. It was crazy. But no, it does. It is a fantastic thing. The fair. You may not see it necessarily in the hotel numbers. Like with the Speedway, we had a 95% or more. That you may not see it in that, but what you see it in is the economic impact everywhere else. To me, the Wilson County Fair, the Wilson County Tennessee State Fair, is our brag board for 10 straight days. It's a billboard that shows that this is what Wilson County is in the state of Tennessee, and look at what all we have and look what all we can do. And I think the recognition, with it being kind of a marketing minded thing, that recognition and brandingness of Wilson County, it helps with things like, and I'm not saying it did, but for instance, Tim Tebow coming for, people recognize that Wilson County, they recognize how great of a place that is, and that it helps grow things and get larger events and things for sure.
One thing I would like to mention about the fair, and that's the fact that we didn't have rain this year, and that enhanced the attendance so much.
Yes,
it was not a bad day or night.
It was not.
So that helped a lot.
It
but
wasn't crazy hot or raining or anything. It was wonderful.
Anything else about the fair we need to mention or move on?
Well, real quick, I just want to say a thank you to Kim Gregg. She was our mural artist. I don't know if any of y'all out there listening had a chance to go through the 95 Reasons to Celebrate Tennessee in the Turner Evans building. She was our mural artist. She's painted several murals with our Paint Wilco Murals project. She painted the state of Tennessee on the floor of that building.
Really?
All the same. It was tough to see with all the displays.
I was the attendant there one evening from 5 to 10, I believe it was. And I walked through there a little bit, but I'd been through it once before. The only bad thing about that was it was kind of in a cramp. There was so much, and you only had so much room there. I understand that when the new building is built, this will be spread out more, and everybody. There's so much history that's there.
It was amazing.
That painting there, that was really done well on the floor, and you entered at East Tennessee and you ended in West Tennessee. I thought that was
amazing.
Great
Yeah,
too.
I'm like you though. There was a lot, when Helen and those out at the fair, they started talking about the idea of what they wanted to do. I'm like, how are you going to do this? But it was amazing the way they did it, and they almost overdid it. It was so great, So once they get into a larger building and we're able to kind of spread our wings and show more display, it's going to be great.
Have studied Tennessee history a little bit, and I've been in most of the counties, and just to see all that laid out there, I really liked it, and I hope it can just expand on it next time. I don't know how much that has to do with tourism, but it was us, and it was all of Tennessee.
It shows, not just Wilson County, but what all that Tennessee has that helps promote that $24 billion industry.
Okay, moving on from the fair to what else?
Just a few things that we have coming. We're kind of getting into the fall season, so I don't want to say it's a slowdown for us, because it goes from having 3 or 4 events on any given day to maybe 2 events on any given day. But there's a lot of great things coming. We've got the Wilco Powwow coming out to James E. Ward Ag Center. Cindy Ahola, she's been leading this and doing this. She's on 39th year. It's the Native American Powwow. That's going to be September 24th and 25th. Mistletoe Merchants out at the Farm Bureau Expo Center is the 23rd through the 25th. Holiday shopping. I don't know if you're like me, there's always somebody on my Facebook feed that says, hey, only 17 more Mondays till Christmas or something like that. Yeah. So here's your chance to get ahead of that and get some Christmas shopping done for that. C10 Nationals. If you're not familiar, C10 is the Chevrolet model of truck from 73 to 87. It's a huge truck show out at the Super Speedway. That's at the end of September 29th through August 1st. It's going to be a swap meet truck show. I know my boys. I've got twin 8-year-old boys. I know that's one that's on their list, is to see all the trucks for sure.
As you promote Lebanon and Wilson County, I think we have a lot going for us, and these events that draw things, and there's something just about all the time at the Ward Ag Center and the Farm Bureau Expo building. I mean, they're booking right and left nearly all the time, and probably have things that are even 2 and 3 years into the future.
I believe Gail out there is booking
but
2 or 3 up for sure.
What about the? I mean, we go from to the west. There's the population has increased so much. Mount Juliet, actually, Mount Juliet's a few hundred more population, I think, than we are even here in Lebanon. Watertown, less populated, more rural area. And you're promoting all of this. And speaking of Watertown, they have their own thing, but you work with what's going on there at times.
We do. The Tennessee Railway, they do the excursion trains out there, and we're involved with that with Terry Bebout and trying to get some growth out there and help them get some events going on. Of course, there's always the great thing about Watertown is it is definitely community centered and driven, and there's so many great community events on that. So it's definitely, it's something that you just have to experience out there. Some of the small town feel.
Well, when you call it Mayberry USA, you haven't missed the mark too much.
It is,
to be honest. But if they could get this, and I don't know how to refer to it. We've talked about it before, but it has to do with the train and the
turntable.
Turntable.
Oh man,
that would be a sight to see.
A
tour. That's a tourism written all over it.
I'm telling you, I've been talking to Steve Smart. He's kind of heading up trying to get some funding and everything on this. This would be an amazing project, a genuine, like say, turntable for because they're working on the steam engine project in downtown Nashville, and to have that, to bring that out in a turntable, that would bring people from all over.
To just to get it there would be an event and a lot of publicity in itself. But then to have that turntable there, and I suppose it would be operating from time to time.
Yes, sir.
And maybe, I don't know how big a tourist attraction or if it's something you can charge for. I haven't heard all the details, but I'm
like I said,
thinking out loud
the turntable is there. It's just a matter of getting all the infrastructure to get it installed and working. And like I said, they're working hard on trying to find funding to get this installed. But there's a culture of folks that follow the railways and the steam locomotives and everything, that it is a very amazing thing.
Well, maybe, just maybe, some tourism dollars from the state can be turned loose in that direction.
We can see what we can do. I know that there's been talks about some recovery plan grant funding coming. We're still waiting to hear what that can be and what that can be used for to help, certain events and certain initiatives like this.
Well, of course, the Jazz Festival is something else Watertown has, and the mile-long yard sale twice a year.
Jazz Festival,
they're
Bluegrass
kind of
Festival,
signature events.
Yes.
And, so Watertown's not left out.
No, they are not.
We got about 3 minutes left, 3.5 minutes. Anything else you got you want to mention here?
It's just going back to the numbers of our economic impact, and like I've mentioned to you on break there, to get folks past that bottom threshold of, why come to Wilson County? Well, as I mentioned, $295 million worth of reasons that there are things in Wilson County that tourism is a viable industry, and we are growing it, and it does put money back into the economy. And it's not just the large events. It's not just the fair. It's not just NASCAR weekend that's putting money back into it. If you think about it, I'm one of these kind of people when I'm traveling with my family. I either want to get through the city or get right before the city to stop. I don't want to be in Nashville for the night for hotels and stuff like that. Our hotel rates are much more economical, and it's not nearly as crowded. So we have a lot of stop-off traffic for tourism, and that's just literally stop for the night. Well, that stop for the night will turn into a hotel room. It'll turn into dinner. There'll be somewhere where a cash register rings because somebody's going to buy a shirt or buy a hat or do something, and they're going to fill up their tank with gas before they take off the next day. That adds up. That tank of gas is roads. That other stuff is for schools. So,
and the more of that we have rolling through, the more our sales tax is going to increase.
Exactly. Taxes increase everywhere, and the good thing about that is they're just driving through. So the money they put for taxes on
We
roads.
don't have to build jails and schools for them.
Exactly. That's it. We don't have to worry about jails, schools, or roads for them. They just come through.
All right. One other thing we can talk about before you leave. I think your office maybe has grown a little bit. Probably when a director of tourism was first started, it might have been a one-person thing. You got a little bit more than that now.
Well, they started out as one, and then they had a couple. We're like I say, we're three in our office right now. Whitney Embry, she is our marketing specialist. And then Sonia Carroll, Sunny, she goes by Sunny. We just hired her on as our admin assistant. So we're a party of three now, and looking to do some great things. I've got a really great staff.
Where's your office?
It's 400 East Spring Street. So basically, we're right in front of the Education Administrative Building.
Okay, yeah. What did this used to be?
Years ago, it was the health department. Then it was the adult high school learning center for a while.
Okay, so you're located between what used to be Lebanon High School and East Spring Street.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
right there. Yep, that's where our office is.
All right, we got it. Well, if you joined us late, Jason Johnson's with us, and we're coming to an end of our time here this morning. But Jason's director of tourism, and you've been here how long?
This is going on 2.5 years now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's been a good one, and it sounds like you're doing your job well.
I appreciate it.
Reporting to us all the good news here this morning.
I think Wilson County in general is doing a good job with things. I'm just trying to lead it in the right direction as I can.
Well, certainly appreciate your visit, and hopefully we can have you back from time to time. And anytime you've got some good news to share, well, we welcome you with open arms. How's that?
Sounds great. I appreciate you.
All right, that's going to do it for Wednesday. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Coleman and Company. And until tomorrow, I wish you a wonderful day.